Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Talking Parish League. I'm your host, Leroy John Baptist, and it's indeed a pleasure to be back in your company again. But before we go any further, we're going to recognize our sponsor, and we start off with our platinum sponsor, ACB Caribbean, Simply Smarter Banking. 43 years of partnership with the Antigua Parish League Cricket, and so for all of your banking and financial need, it has to be ACB Caribbean. You could visit them at any of their locations on Thames Street, over at Woods Mall, or even right here on High Street, and they will take good care of you. Brands for Less, your all-in-one store, whether it be clothing, footwear, cosmetic, appliances, or just looking for that birthday gift. Be sure to check them out there at Brands for Less. Carol and her team, they will take excellent care of you right there. They're located right there on High Street, opposite the Old Deluxe Cinema. Seco Pharmacy, for all of your medicinal and pharmaceutical needs. It's Seco Pharmacy, your one-stop vitality store to keep the body in a healthy and vibrant state. They are located at the corner of High Street and Temple Street, so do check them out there at Seco Pharmacy. Digicel, the bigger, better network. For all of your internet and data needs, be sure to check them out there at Digicel, and so they will sort you out when it comes to your internet and your data requirements. Plumbing Electrical Limited, with a wide assortment of plumbing and electrical fittings, whether your needs are retail or wholesale. Plumbing Electrical Limited has the quantity and quality to meet your expectations. Plumbing Electrical Limited, they are located right there bordering the communities of Potters and Herberts, so be sure to check them out. That's Pell Plumbing Electrical Limited. Zen Body and Skincare, enhancing your natural beauty, distributor of Black Girl Sunscreen, made by women of color for people of color. A sunscreen for everyday use. Zen Body and Skincare. They're located at Ways Estate, east of Pickett's, north of the Social Security Housing Project, and you can reach them at 779-4846. The best tasting water on the island, Blue Mountain Water. The agent for Blue Mountain Water, they're mega distributors. They're located right there on the American Road, so be sure to check them out. You get them in a variety of sizes there. Blue Mountain Water for all of your thirst requirement. Pine Hill Juice, with a variety of flavors and sizes, providing the most exotic taste. It's Pine Hill Juice, and the distributors are Hutchinson Wholesale. They are located right there on the Sir Sidney Wallin Highway. And Cool and Smooth, for all of your sporting accessories, whether it be uniform, you need your household item, appliances, clothing, and much more. Be sure to check Amir and his team there at Cool and Smooth, and they're to the east of the market complex. Well, again, we want to welcome everyone back to another of our shows, all persons joining us on all our different platforms. We have our Facebook, our YouTube, and we are also streaming on our Instagram page. So just type in Antigua Parish League, and you'll definitely be able to find us on all of these very networks. Let me just say some shout-outs to my good friend Jack Snuddy, all the way there in England. Jack Taddy last week, Jack said he enjoyed the show. It was a wonderful, wonderful show. And so, Jack, it's good to have you again. And to my darling sweetheart there in Dominica, Lillian Phillip, she's also logged in there, Taddy, checking us out here. So we just want to welcome everyone. And all of our regular viewers, texters, be sure to send in your messages, and we'll try and share them with the other audience. And today, we have another informative and a very reflective show, as we have still a young man, and he'll be sharing his exploits not only on the cricket, little football, and I understand he was an army man also, so he's going to share a little bit of those exploits here with you, and hope that his story, his tagline, can be of some inspiration to the youngsters as they themselves try to carve their path in today's society. So, Taddy, without further ado, let me welcome you once again. How was the week so far? Good to see that you survived the Valentine's weekend gone.
John, we're going after the viewing public again, audience, John. What happens, man? The week was pretty good, man. Well, so far, very good, but pretty hectic too. I mean, doing all kind of shows for all kind of people. Like I said to somebody yesterday, boy, Vivi, Antigua, well-known guy when it comes to international stuff, but Daddy the most well-known man in Antigua. Everybody knows me. So, I just put him with somebody, and then I sent, that's from a partner, Viv, the Jumbo crab in Pakistan. I told you called me last week, right?
Yes, you did.
Yes, you know what I mean? So it does like a WhatsApp here and there. And the team getting all kind of blows, man, you know what I mean? So it's not to pull him up. So what happens, man? Cricket, John, you know, we have to touch the cricket, but we have a special guest here in Jerry, He playing cricket for the group in the Grace Green community and all that. And he's supposed to put in the little chat there, why not football? Because Jerry, close families is both right, same household, and Jerry's supposed to play football. Why you get in this cricket business? You know what I mean, John? But hey, I guess the man loves what he loves, right?
Yep.
Where is it, John?
Yes.
And I tell you, man, I told you before, John, I was saying that I know Jerry before you back. I mean, mother means just small. He used to go by the house by my father, both white father. You know what I mean? So I used to walk up there and he go all over the place. So I know Jerry, I know his mommy long time, she's a small girl. You know what I mean? So I used to go there, so when I heard about this Jerry and Sharon and that, I said, wait, Jerry, Sharon, okay. So the joke is, John, I saw his mommy about something last year. She came to fix her car, and I saw some small people say, where you getting small people from? I said, my grandchildren. So where you getting Jerry children? I say, Jerry have your babysitter, where he? Then I learned this Jerry gone in the Air Force and all kind of stuff, John. I said, Jerry got in the nonsense in Air Force business. You know what I mean, John? So, you know what I mean? So there we get my little knowledge of his being into this training stuff with US Air Force and all kind of stuff, So I thought Jerry may be into something else. But hey, so when I joined the army, plenty of opportunities there for you. But I guess it didn't work out well for him. So John, this is what it is. Now we're going to touch on cricket.
Well, we have to touch that, Taddy.
Because I just wanted to put a little stuff to rest. I mean, I heard our good minister of sports, my good friend Darrell Matthew, with pronunciation about semi-pro. And I tell him, what kind of nonsense is that? That was my first reaction. So I watched some good friends, and say, hey man, that's nonsense. The kind of money you should put to use, better use. So if I have the cricket in Antigua, John, start primary school league, which I drafted a plan for them since 1999 when Guy was Minister of Sports. And it was Guy's idea, to be honest with you. But he told me to put the plan together. All right, and every time, see, I've told this to John for many months now. When I follow that the Indian cricket, and India got on the 10 league on the 12 league and on this league, it's all red ball playing, John. They play white ball in India now.
Right.
Or when the World Cup coming up and so, the man train for that now. Or the XR and the talented one who play 4-day cricket, they're the ones that are good. So they're picky. And picky for the 1-day cricket now. That's what happened, John. So I don't know why we get this big thing about 2020 and this white ball cricket. And we got this straight from now 4-day cricket and 3-day cricket and 2-day cricket. Because, like I was watching a game something last week, John, when I saw the Smith guy, when Western played a 50-over match. And Odin Smith got out, the 7th man out, 23.4 overs. And they say, less than half the overs ball and 7 man out. And the captain and the coach had a man to fly. And he's one of the future guys. Tell him man bat sensibly to the end. Learn to bat and come a real batsman. So what's in need you can bat.
Right.
Because well, we know the captain can't do that. The captain only good for the last 6 hours so he can fly. So we start to groom some guys that John think have talent. But then I set him apart. We were watching down in Gardens by my house there. I said maybe Odin, maybe auditioning for 20 IPL. So lo and behold, the man got a contract with 800,000 US, John. So the audition worked well. That's all I can say about that, John. I didn't understand it, John. 23.4 overs and 7 man out in John. That make any sense to you? I play 50 overs. Can you imagine, John? So you had an opportunity for one guy with Alzari and O'Shea, whatever you name it,
Odin Smith.
Then the guys batting, learn to bat and bat the West 50 overs. And you know you have some guys for the future. If the team in trouble, they know to bat and get. Johnny said, you're too young maybe now. Can't remember West's first World Cup. Andrew was the last man, and Derek Murray put a partnership about 6 for the last one. West Indies beat Pakistan now. Okay, West Indies eventually win the World Cup, you know.
Yeah, I think when Andy was here, he spoke about it.
Okay, so I remember that, John. You know, those days 60 overs to play for World Cup, not 50. So I'm saying to you, John, when you have the opportunity to get these young guys here to learn, to adapt to a situation, you do that. The other man fly, you can't win the match with Ireland flying, John. How long can you fly for to knock out 171s? It doesn't make no sense. Sometimes I say there was no thought process in the thing, John. Nobody was thinking this stuff probably. But there's one other thing there. They're my good friend. Like I said, I tagged him in a little bit. I thought he was foolish. You know what I mean? He was a very good friend. You know what I mean? Even family friend for old time days. You know what I mean? And then what happens? My good friend didn't was too pleased. So one of them, Zoel put it in their chat. I never did people chat. I didn't in the chat group. I not in chat group chat. And my good friend Ed wasn't too pleased. So what we didn't develop, why didn't develop factory? But he didn't answer what factory problem was. But we had factory at the pavilion.
Right.
But factory have no fence. So we fence it. But what happened now? The Minister of Fences wanted to put down fence. So I said to Mr. Brand, we have a fence ready. Let him to the pavilion. That agreement. Mr. Brand, he had the agreement. I had a plan for it. He has a plan. Mr. Brand has a plan up to now.
Right.
For the pavilion. I communicated with my good friend, the bank. They will provide the blocks and cement and stuff for me, John. Like I said to you, Tad, you have all the cricketers, plumbers and masons and whoever they be to come to work. You get me come on, John.
Right.
But in the minister say, he going to do it at his government place. What can we do? Government place with a John. We can't do nothing. So I had to scrap the idea. So Mr. Brandon, I'll follow it after that. Come and say, why let the man work in the pavilion for? No place for the people go in and shelter when they go and change your clothes. And we already have a fence. You know what I mean, John?
Right.
We the pavilion first and then I go about fence after. Because we did the fence, we got a cackle and donkey and pig. We go in and mash your pitch for us and John. John, you know, prepare a picture and that's how that works. John, I can give you a joke about that, John. I remember 1 year I was going there and I tell, man and black and then guys, I don't want to throw the pitch until I come back. When they come back, when you use a grader, dig out the pitch. You know what I mean? So, something we do new pitch. John, when they came back home the afternoon, dash up factory. When they go factory, pitch dig up. So I went straight to ask him by now, man, as our grandfather. Said, man, how I dig out the pitch? And he said, what did you dig out the pitch? I said, what do you mean? The pitch dig up big. So, when they call factory, the pig in dig out the pitch like backo. The pig dig out the pitch like backo. So I'm saying to John, that was our experience there, John. So that's what fence is, John. People don't understand what thing going on. John, we did seating and so at factory. Get the real life of factory, pay some guys to factory with welders and so on. But I'm seating and we're seating now in the place, John. People don't understand this factory thing, you know. John, hungry bowl of bunks and tell you went to 6 bites, 6 whites. You know what we do after that, John?
I heard somebody talking about
two margin chief from back in the field. So the boys, you go right back to the fence, no people fence. I get things to do there, John.
Well, we have to know your history to know
you know what I mean, John?
where you're coming from.
So to say that we didn't do anything, what we're doing, John, is your well is still to know, John? And don't by judges. You know they can't put pavilions on them and fence it. It's against the law. Something in the will, somebody have the will say that.
Yep.
People don't know these things, John. You see things and wonder why. You can't touch certain things, John. They will leave them alone. But apart from that, John, you know what I mean? I think we can get into the cricket, the young guys, start to establish. You know, we play boys school, so this was a league like that long time, a primary school league now. You see both side fans who play for boys schoolers. You see, you have 2 masters who play in the team. Remember Gate, you spoke about that?
Yes.
2 masters who play with the team, with the young guys. Yeah, so it's something that used to happen. You know, nothing new inventing, John. The thing is, you need guys like Jarry and so to go out and with experience to teach them the fundamentals
of the game.
So, in primary school, though, the oldest it might be 11, 12.
So basically, Charlie, you're saying the minister is speaking about doing a semi-professional league. You're more thinking of setting up academies to assist
Start in primary school.
the young ones.
We zone them. I said you were going to zone them. From Jennings, go back to Old Road. All in primary school come in one zone. You play competition among them, you get the best of the best. Then the guys started to train them. But semi-pro wasn't new for Parish League. We did semi-pro 1985, you know.
Yeah. When I saw that, that's what my mind ran on.
We did it so long there, John. But our semi-pro was for what? You know the reason? The young guys like Jerry who was coming out, I would think they're good enough to make Antigua team, West Indies team, have them play cricket all year round. So they can practice. You have to go practice between September and December. After the carnival, you get ready to play cricket again. That was our focus, John. Not because they can pay again, it was no big pay.
Right.
$100 a week or something. But they have to go practice, John. And guess what happened, John? About 5 guys or 6 guys that went to play West Indies, you know.
Yeah, I myself, when I heard it, I asked a few questions internally myself. I was saying, you know, our present system, are we satisfied with the way it is? To add another layer on top of it.
Carnival cricket.
I'm not certain, you know.
Carnival cricket,
but I guess we can have another discussion into the whole thing. We have Jari here, who's been sitting for a while. Jari Edwards, good afternoon and welcome to Talking Parish League.
Good afternoon to you, Mr. John Baptist. Good afternoon to you, Taddy, and good afternoon to your viewers.
Look, before we go any further, Taddy ever coach you?
No.
Oh, come on, just go for serious.
I'm quite happy that he did.
I think you're disappointed.
I was just going to give you the opportunity to talk your mind, because I know when Taddy have you on his control, most people can't talk their mind, so I'm going to say you're going to talk your mind.
I had the pleasure of seeing some of his practice sessions as a youngster.
Okay.
When the Antigua and the 15 team used to be at factory, and I must say, his practice sessions are pretty intense.
I like the choice of words, intense. But Jari, before we get into you, Taddy, something I wanted to discuss early, and Jari, you could come in at any time in part of the discussion. We would have heard, well, I feel it's a lot of accolade being given to the West Indians in that we would have secured 17 contracts in the IPL. And we have also heard the talking before that, you know, this T20 cricket is destroying our brand of cricket, not only in terms of how our players play, but in terms of their mindset and their commitment towards West Indies cricket. So Taddy, I don't know, what would be your evaluation on those 17? And when we look at the crop of the 17, is some of the young guys who I want to believe, we are banking to carry West Indies for the next 10, 12 years. How do you evaluate what happened at the IPL?
First word I want to attack is accolades. I want to attack the word accolades. Cannot be special about that. John, all those guys they got IPL. And you pick all and put them together now, everything in the world bang them. That's the same thing to you. They don't get to pick them, they're good. John did the same thing to me. They're fortunate, happy for them, they made some money. But John, they're just the good, John. You didn't see the team can't play? You didn't see the man in a good John? Dean Smith gets a big contract, Pollard and I get the jokers. John, the bottom line should be, John, our team is winning. John, then they can tell you that, hey, it's wonderful. But when you put 17 instead of John, that's more than the team, you know. You have, there's towing party. 17 and 16, you tow with John. And if you put all of them together now, John, everybody bang them. So John, what that tells you, John? When they're doing so well, you know what I mean? So, John, I don't know, they tell you, this 2020 stuff is good for the players, there's some money involved, but it's not good for West Indies cricket. That's my concern, John. We can't have something coming good out of it, no, John. What you can see come out good, except the guys will get some money.
Jari, you have any viewpoint on that? You're not agree with Taddy now? Oh.
I don't want you to agree with me.
I honestly think that first and foremost they should make a commitment to West Indies cricket, because I think representing the West Indies should be the pinnacle of anybody's, well, from the Caribbean, of any Caribbean young men or women life. So I think really and truly the commitment has to be made for West Indies cricket, and then you know, they go through the proper channels and procedures in order to get to into franchise cricket, providing that the West Indies don't have any tours that clash with any of the leagues and so forth.
Yeah, I can understand that, Jari, because those guys, right? Those guys who play for in IPL, they would have represented the West Indies cricket. That's how they become known. So I can see, John, Jack, I can't blame West Indies Cricket Board. They should put something in place, because if you check all the teams in them now, when the guys are selected and the country want them and call them, they want to go quick. So I can't blame West Indies Board for that.
Because there's obviously an agreement in place between the players and
the board.
So they know as long as the team has to tour, their first commitment is they have to go and play for their national team, and
Exactly.
then they can.
But guys, I think I want to believe one of the differing factor is, I'm saying if I play for the West Indies, my compensation is nowhere close to what I'm going to get playing with the IPL. Whereas I guess these guys I'm just assuming, I don't have any data really, but I'm assuming these guys that play in Pakistan, England, Australia, their remuneration playing for their country must be a little bit more handsome, and so a little bit more encouraging for them to want to stay home and play with their home territory. I don't know how you guys see it from that angle.
John, I like the word you use now, remuneration. You know why? You know why West Indies are getting a big pay? Because they're too jokey now. When they're good, they demand they get plenty pay. That's what it works now. The teams that come first, second, and third get the most pay from ICC than them. That's how the sum disbursed. But 4 times now, West Indies play all 5 the test series now. No, they get 3, so they're like Bangladesh and they're like a jokey boys now, and Zimbabwe and so. That's how we're graded now. No good. So when they're like it or not, John, when they're doing good, until our cricket becomes a focal point and people want our entertaining cricket and so, because we've been playing entertainment cricket long before 2020 and so on.
Yeah.
That was our brand. But guess what?
I honestly think the structure needs to improve. Definitely. We need to go to the grassroots level, as you mentioned earlier, and we need to get programs, efficient programs there going that can encourage people to seek a career in cricket.
I agree with you.
If they choose to go in that direction.
There's a theory that says, when Taddy, I know you speak about it a couple of times. You said, hey, when we play among ourselves, we think we have arrived, but it's only when we step out of that comfort zone. So, Taddy, wouldn't you look at that exposure for those 17 players as an opportunity for them to rub shoulders with a better crop of players, and hopefully now they could bring some of that knowledge, that experience back to the West Indies team?
John, do me a favor, John. Pollard. We don't know where laugh for. Poor one in him. Poor one. Andrew Russell. But all them rub shoulders long time in the IPL now. Only the audience really go the first. Alzheimer went before, and almost all of the car played before. How many new ones in the 17, John? I'm asking. I don't know them.
Yeah, Rutherford. You have.
I think Rutherford went to the IPL.
He went before.
He went before.
I don't quite remember which team.
Who was it again? Rutherford went before.
We have Shepherd. We have Odean Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Those are new ones.
Two new ones possible.
Kyle
Mayers. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Kyle Mayers. So you only have 3. I don't go up shoulders before now. I don't go up shoulders before, John.
That's why we have to be new, man. That's why we just played 2 games in the IPL now.
I went class in Poland.
He was a bowling machine, but you didn't play.
I understand that. What I'm saying to you, Al's a young fella too. Give and take. But when you go up shoulders with who, John? You know who benefit from the IPL? Indian guys now. You see all the guys who play on in 1980, they're going to practice some kind of franchise now. With all the best guys now. Somebody get picked in for picking so.
I would want to believe that they are clubs. Well, the players go back to their home countries. They have clubs that they are affiliated with. I believe their club structures benefit in some shape or form.
Exactly.
But I understand what you're saying in terms of the holistic development of West Indies cricket, or the territorial development of West Indies cricket. There's no real structure being put in place that will benefit the territories or the whole region.
We're going to wrap up this segment shortly, but Taddy, you just mentioned about the youth, the under 19s or whatever. I think it was Curtly Ambrose, Sir Curtly, who made a comment a couple of days back. Our under 19 team that just recently completed, there's only about maybe 1 or 2 players who have made it to any of the franchises that is currently playing the.
That's a national team. He's a franchise. Franchise is CPL.
Well, it's franchise cricket, they call it now.
Yeah.
The Leeward Islands Hurricanes is Hurricanes now. And
But John, let me ask you a question, John. I heard my good friend Security, but I wasn't in agreement with him at all. You know why? Those guys played hard in 19, right? That's a one-day cricket. This 50-over business. How many scores and centuries, John? I'm just asking. So I'm saying to you, you can display some guys who had great performance before just to bring a guy and say, okay, he played in 19. And say he keeps, That's like my partner Houston talking about this morning. Booby just scored out the century again yesterday. Scored 72. Scored century the first match in 58. My God, just 70 yesterday. He been knocking in the door. 70 can't replace people,
Right.
It is true that the jokers got that. You can just put in name in the bag and pull out. Anybody come with the same thing. What I'm saying to you, if you want to play, you're knocking in the doors and make plenty of ones.
Push on the door.
Want to play.
You don't limit yourself.
You make up one, John. So don't make the opportunity pass you by when you have opportunity to make runs. Take them plenty and make an argument. I remember at the store we got a good friend Willie Jacob many years ago before he made the West Indies team. And they said to him, look, he's so disappointed getting picked. They said, look, every match you can play with Parish League in local tournament, score century. So he goes all over the world, people here, you're making runs. You have a chance, they call you. And it happened by some kind of luck, it happened to him when he went Saudi Arabia. He was informed.
The rest was history.
Yeah.
He played a few one-days prior to South Africa.
Yeah.
In the Caribbean. I think it was against New Zealand or something like that.
Definitely.
Yeah, and as we wrap up, guys, Taddy don't look good for us. We played 4 games, 3 one-days. We lost all 3. We played a T20 the other day. We lost again. The coach came out and said, the batting leaves a lot to be desired. I mean, I remember Zol was here. We were saying the cupboards are empty. The cupboards are bare. I mean, where do we go? I mean, I see that they finally decided to rest. Well, no, Shy Hope don't play T20, sorry. But, I mean, we're struggling. What can we do? The cupboards are bare.
John. Hear the joke. The coach said, the brother. And here the coach, he's supposed to fix it. He have them all the time. He's the coach. Fix the problem. Fire himself. They say he's lying. Can't get the job done. That's what we do in America. Fire, But I heard the name a while ago. I have been laughing, John. But it's Shy Hope, he say. He's so shy from bar. So he went from bar. He's so shy. And he says, shy, we went on the wicket. I like back then joke, you guys, John.
Anyway, we're going to continue.
Right name, no, John Shy. Shy. When you see my Shy away.
We'll continue this segment another time, guys. But yeah, West Indies really we're in a spot of bother, and I don't know what we can do. But anyway,
John, I want to say something about it. I know you think about your one day in 2020, but I don't call it the spot of bother now. You know my spot of bother is when the test match starts. I wrote the 45 overs. Same old story. They can't bat long, John. That's my. If they bat well in test match, I wouldn't have a problem with John. Anybody get bang and one the cricket in 2020, John. But when they come with the same performance in test cricket, there's where I have the problem, John.
Hence the name Test Cricket.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to wish our guys all the best in the last 2 T20s, and hope that they could at least come with some positives out of this series and avoid any whitewash or brownwash or greenwash. Anyway, let me say good afternoon to our texters. Good to have you, Lydia Harris. Carol, good to have you also, Carol. And we have Calvin White coming all the way from Orlando, Florida.
Hold on. Calvin White. This is Sugi White, almost family.
Okay.
All right? This is Sugi White, Carol White and Sugi White, and basically done with so sweet and saying, go ahead.
I think Lydia is agreeing with your comments that you made earlier, Jari, about the West Indies cricket, and Lydia is also saying, she's asking, is it love for country or money?
Yeah.
I think it's money, because if it was supposed to be country, then they would sign their contracts, because there are some red ball contracts, white ball contracts that are in place for each player, well, the players that they're interested in giving the contracts to, and they refuse to sign them. The Pollard, the big names in West Indies cricket, the Pollards, the Purans. That's because they want every opportunity that they get to go and play
2020
franchise cricket around the world.
2020 I got it. 2020 they play 50 overs. It was 2020 cricket.
Yeah.
You know, and I remember Jar was a 2021 in Stanford too, you know.
I got a little piece of that.
You got a little piece of the action, Jari. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, yes, we're here with Jari Edwards, former national player, went through the youthful ranks and in the Grace Green community, and he also had a little stint in the U.S. Army military, and so we're going to touch a little base on that. So we're going to now focus on you, Jari, and I'm not certain if you're familiar with our program, but we like to start from we like to take you, well, the Rasta man don't say go back, but we like to we like to recede a bit. And now just tell us a little bit about yourself growing up as far as you can remember, a little toddler, what it was, you know, for the family, the community, what it was like for you as a youngster growing up.
I must say, I won't say I had the best of lives. I didn't have the worst either. You know, I came up from, I can say, middle income family that basically, you know, looked after me how I was supposed to look after, gave me the love that I needed growing up. So my childhood was good in many ways. As far as cricket is concerned, obviously we started playing, you know, road cricket, and I have a cousin by the name of Devon Thomas, not necessarily Booby Thomas, but Devon Thomas, they call him Sour. He's known more around the softball fraternity as Sour, and you know, he was the one that basically got.
Where's the Sour between you?
My cousin.
Joke Sour.
I'm not getting into that, but you know, Sour basically laid the foundation for me. You know, taught me how to bat, and you know, I basically took
you can't bat. If someone teach you about you can't bat, you mean they hold a bat?
Well, that's what you want to put it. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. I can defend myself.
Okay.
So you know, he basically laid the foundation, and when I passed my exam in 1994 to go to Princess Margaret Secondary, you know, I had Alfonso Black Jarvis as my first real coach, and you know, then I went on the 15 where I had T. Willie, and then there was Hayden Walsh, and you know, the Winston Benjamins, and going to Empire, Puma, and so forth, and those were the people who were basically in and around me as a youth until I went to the pro team. I also went to Shell Cricket Academy in 2003.
Shell?
Yes.
Okay, where's that?
That was in Grenada.
Grenada, okay.
Yes, so even around the pro team, Mr. Eldin Baptist was our coach, you know, and I mean...
Wait, which pro team that?
Stanford Antigua and Barbuda pro team.
Is this man a big player? 20 million for 20 million?
No, I didn't play in that game. I played in the tournament. That was not a game for me. So that was basically it for me in a nutshell. I've been playing cricket from since 1997. I started out playing for, you know, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. I started playing in 1994, competitive cricket, when I went to, as I said, Princess Margaret Secondary School. And then...
What a jockey school, man?
We got a lot of licks back then, I must say. We got a lot of licks back then because it was the PS Secondary with the likes of, you know, Yellowman Daniel and Ken George, Aston Richards, You know, Anthony Martin.
I did.
You have Academy with Marley, Kerry Skeppel, the Bedminster brothers. And so
What about grammar school?
grammar school had no school didn't really have anybody like
Okay, well said.
didn't really have anybody like that. Yeah, but you know, those were the players that were around during my youth days, and they were pretty good players as well. I mean, there are times where we have some conversations where, you know, we say, you know, who was the best, you know, youth player in youth cricket back then, and best footballer, and all those sort of things.
I want to just take you back a bit before we get. Let me take you back into the Grace Green community. That's where you would have.
Yes.
What was it like around the playing field? I assume you would have had some time around the senior guys there. What was that experience?
I went straight into the team. I mean, when I was in the under 15 program, Kuma did his shopping early, and there were a few players. He came and he handpicked and told us, he wanted us to come and play for his team. And
wait, so you get a leg up?
yes. So, but being in and around the senior players like the Oliver Joseph, the Ian Tittle, the Michael Alexander, and so forth, they made me feel at home, even though I was the youngest. You know, they taught me certain fundamentals about the game, the way how you should think the game and go about preparing yourself, and these are things that I've held on to up until this day.
Taddy, you said something there a while ago, and you don't hear much people talk about that. They taught me how to think the game. A lot of us, we just how to hold a bat.
Well, John, that's a part of the problem now with cricket. See, what happens, the old senior guys, I tell you about this paper coach business now. The senior guys used to take you in hand, explain things to you. Yes, especially after practice, after match, you have like a get together. Because you want a young guy to do well. That's what youngsters are about now. You try to take them under your wings.
Yeah, and if I can cut in here, Tari, from an early age, Kuma used to command us, if I can say.
So wait. You had in Taddy?
No. No. I'm talking about when we're getting ready for the game. So on the Saturday morning, you have to get up at 6, you have to be at King George. All the young players are there, fixing the pitch, rolling the pitch, making sure the outfield is good, things in place for the match, and the senior players will just walk in at the time that they're supposed to be there, and they get on their clothes and they tell you, well, we did it for a number of years, so you have to learn responsibility, and this is a part of the learning curve as well.
That is a very valid comment that you just made there, because if you go around the cricket field now, I mean, I'm a part of a club there, and they actually have to beg the guys to even come and pull the covers or do anything on the cricket field. But there it is, as you said, you guys knew your role. You had your job was to get that field.
It teaches responsibility to a certain extent, because
to a great extent.
Yeah, you're then able to transition what you learned into the game and be able to apply it to certain situations, and it helps you to think the game at a higher level.
John, and that is key, John. You see, I keep telling men, anybody come over fact, you have to learn to prepare a pitch. You have to learn to cut grass. You must be part of everything. I tell them my most telling story about that now. I remember the young Dave Joseph, with all his talent, John. He wouldn't score any once. So I said to him, I'll tell you something, right? And some this week, you go hold the pitch. You're holding some runs. So when you hold the pitch and you do the hard work, you won't get all silly. Okay, that's what hard work means.
Right.
After that, it's time I go on straight. See, John, when you learn hard work, John, you don't want to fail. You want to make runs now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Because he
took it to heart, he's not making a lot of runs.
He definitely would learn, how his pitch plays, so certain things that players who weren't privy to the preparation would do. He would know, okay,
exactly.
I need to go forward and stay forward, or I can afford to play back. When the players come from the opposing teams, they're not really sure how the pitch would play, so they try to give themselves time to really get into, have a feel of everything. And
Jerry is so correct. I can tell you something. I keep telling people, my two great friends, one Michael Camacho and that my Jamaican friend, Vivid Jets. Nobody people who pitch than them and me. I was writing some pitch, man. commercial St. Johnson, Vivi St. Johnson, where his son pitch man. You roll the pitch, you roll in it once. Bowlers, okay, pitch good or not? No. You pitch the good bowlers happy.
No, the fast bowlers want their pitches to be
Hey, helpful to them.
yes.
But we want to pitch good for our Quebec ones. You know what I mean, John? So John, you roll in all the ones you can. And that's what it's all about. If you're a batsman, it's will love the whole pitch. If you're a batsman,
But you see, what I'm taking away from what Jari is saying so far is that discipline that was inculcated in them, or in him, let's speak about him,
It's
from
not-
that young age, even before
It's not there. It's not there anymore.
he was able to go on the cricket field itself, in terms of, you know, playing as a regular member.
The players just want to meet the pitch ready, and they just ready to come.
but John, I want to take back Jarry to something. Because Jarry said the players just want to. I don't believe that, no, John. Because I say, I want to take Jarry to somewhere else. He can correct me. So when Jarry came in, Jarry was playing under 15. You the age? Under 15. When you're under 15, John, I want to make under 19 and the team. You do everything to tell you.
Exactly.
Do everything to tell you, John. Because you want to be part of this thing. And that is the problem, John. If you have a real solid under 15 program and so, where the guys can know something in there for them around the club. Hey, John, you want to be part of everything?
Yeah, because at that age you are a little bit more, let me say, obedient,
Yeah.
a little bit more humble,
Yes.
a little bit more receptive, and so as you said, you're better able to shape them. And I think that really goes back to your concern with the program that the minister would have put out. You're saying, hey, let's focus on our
Young ones.
primaries.
Primaries.
Their bones are still soft. We can nurture them to where we want them to go.
And like, you more than what you want them. You more than because what happens, John? If you start in primary school, right? By the time they get to Clay Hall, which was school, and it come 14 and they ready for under 15 is a big thing already, you know. The kind of training they would have had. And if let's say Jarry Clay Hall school, down any youngster that age from Greece Green area, and you find them, you spot the talent, the 12 years old, you start practicing them by a big team. They move faster, John. They move a lot faster, John. Because they're not the 15 and the 13 guys anymore now.
Right.
When they play their own age group again, they head of you know.
But Taddy, we even see it sometimes when we have away teams come, these under 15, under 19. Some of these guys play like if they are veterans.
Exactly, John. Because they got the training.
Yep, they in proper structures.
Yeah,
You know,
very
that
important, John.
helps to basically propel their careers forward.
Structure, you spoke about structure. What was the structure like among the Empire setting when you were starting going in?
Well, everybody just basically wanted to do well. They wanted to train, so everybody was basically at practice for majority of the week. You know, unless they didn't have to work or anything like that, they would be there. And the practice sessions are very intense, very hard. They're not going to baby anybody. So a person like me, I can remember a particular time, you know, I just made the Leeward Islands on the 19 team, and you know, Kuma was all happy because Kuma played a part in my development, and Winston Benjamin also played a major part around that time as well. And I forgot to mention his name earlier. So
You mentioned him earlier. You mentioned him earlier.
I hope Winston don't keep
You
it.
mentioned him earlier.
Okay, so back to what I was saying, the practice session that day was geared towards me. So I'm the only person batting in a session that day. And Kuma came and he opened a box of new balls and he threw new balls to everybody. And I was a distance from him, so I couldn't really tell what the instruction was, but I saw him speaking to all of the bowlers at one time. And he basically told them, everything, head height, don't try all day.
Pepper you?
Yeah.
That he call it the hard
Baptism of
test.
fire. Yes.
The hard test.
You know, and we had Nigel George, we had Heavyfoot Constant, we had Curl Simon, we had Kuma himself, Oliver Joseph, all of them were just there bowling to me for the whole session, and it was not easy. But I mean, that's all part of the development, because I mean, you go and play first class cricket here, you go and play Leeward Islands cricket, you go and play, you know, regional cricket, test cricket, whatever. It's a part of the game. You can't get away from it.
And that's
that helps as well.
That's the development
It
I
helps to
was.
toughen you.
You have to test them. You can't
And
handle
I know definitely Taddy's practice sessions were definitely like that.
John, if you can't handle
Definitely.
it, John, you can't handle it, no one can't handle it again.
That's true.
John,
That's
if
true.
you come against Thompson Lily and you say, don't,
Yeah,
don't worry,
yeah.
bounce me.
Yeah, yeah.
No, you prepare you, so get accustomed to it. You know, and that's part of
And
the development and
I don't
process,
think-
training.
I honestly don't think that, we should shy away from that aspect of the game, because I find our cricketers these days are being grown up too soft. So,
What do you mean too
sometimes
soft, Jerry?
because they don't want anybody bowling their bounces in practice.
What do you mean, Jerry?
I'm telling you. Even in the game, some of them, they don't want to take on the bowling and play a hook shot, play a pull shot, try and defend themselves in some shape or form is a situation.
They're a
where-
little bit timid.
Yep, definitely.
So, John, how you gonna play regional
They
cricket?
can't play with cricket. Yeah, can't play with cricket.
No, but test
yeah,
cricket.
yeah.
But that's strange because I would have thought that's where I would want the guys to be peppering me in the practice. Hey, just bunks me, or if I have a problem coming forward,
Doesn't work
give
like
me
that,
that drive.
John,
That's what I would-
shocking to me. I tell you why,
Doesn't work
John.
like that.
When we play, John, nobody in a hand guard and chest guard helmet now. And you have a good technique. Get over with the ball. Keep your eyes on the ball, get over with the ball. Now your helmet and chest guard is afraid ball. That's shocking to me, John. I don't understand it. I don't understand it at all, John. That's shocking to me having heard what Jerry said just now.
Yeah, it's a bit shocking to me too. You said you went to the Princess Margaret schools. You guys got a lot of licks.
Mhm.
How did you handle that experience, or how did you and your team, let me say you and your team, handle that experience of not, yes, you want to do good, but you just weren't getting the results?
Well, initially, I was just happy to be played as a 12, 13-year-old, coming out, playing my first, competitive competition. And over the years, as you got better, the desire for the game, my desire for the game grew. So I wanted to be even more competitive. But I mean, myself and, if I can say, Kerry White, because Kerry White was another youth player, going to the Princess Margaret School as well, myself and Kerry, and we just had 9 other individuals playing with us. It wasn't easy. So even though your level of competitiveness improved or went up, you can't compete against the peers with, as I said, the names that I called
Right.
previously, the St. Joseph's Academy, and those other schools. It wasn't easy. Even Jennings,
Grammar school just wasn't in the mix.
grammar
Jesus.
school was thereabout, but they were not.
Right in the mix, so my. Taddy, you so good, you so good, Taddy.
So even though the desire for the game grew, I mean, you could only do as much as you can do, but I mean, my performances stood out. I made it to the under 19 team. I was a regular in under 15, under 19. I eventually made it to the senior training squad at age 16, but I didn't play my first game for Antigua until I was about like 23, somewhere around there. So I was around for a little while before I
John.
actually got a game.
See, I've interviewed with Jerry. See, here he said a while ago, he made the training squad at 16. This is where I have the problem, John. I can tell you why. See the same Wendell Cornwall and a guy named Quinn,
Whitmore Quinn.
Whitmore Quinn. Those guys made it to the under team, Antigua team at 16 years old, they're both. All right? When did somebody make the team, national team is set up when it's 16? You should be a special talent now. You should be a special talent. And days where the Taddy program, out of season program, take you on.
The juvenile.
You
Juvenile
play
program.
cricket all year round, go work on that guy. Okay? If you think something special about him, you pick him at 16. You can't let him go, John.
Yeah, well, Aston Richards and Marley Richards played at 15,
Okay.
because I know when we were playing under 15, they made the national team. They obviously didn't play as much games as the more senior
Yeah,
players would
yeah.
play, but they got their little game here and there at age 15.
15. Yeah, I think Marley spoke about that.
Yeah, but I know Aston Richards Junior, he scored a century pretty young.
Yes.
Right.
From my school stuff, you know what I mean? But John, when you're that age, you have to take care of them.
So Taddy, you're portioning some of the responsibility on the
ACA.
administration.
Yes, because see, I had my program at factory, but like Jerry tell, he didn't play combined school. It was a Parish League, you know what I mean? So he didn't, well, he could have come, if he wanted to come, at factory. Days where out the season and all those, because when we're there, all of the best come by Parish League and guys who play for Antigua Islands used to practice with the same guys 13 and 14.
Right,
And then when the same Robbie Joseph came here,
Yes.
first thing he came, he was 12. The start player come by school, and ambush ball, he knock you out of chest and throw you ground and again and some. That's the experience you get playing against West Indies.
That toughens you up.
The best of the best, the hungry, watch it. I don't ease up and down with them. Ball tough.
Definitely.
They was learn this thing early. If you want it, you have to work hard for it and tough it out. And that's what I say, when you pick a guy 16, John, it's something special about him.
It must speak of some
You
significance.
can't pick him. I don't think the friend pick him off big.
Right.
Okay, pick based on talent.
Right.
And at the time they were, well, I know Aston for sure was scoring, centuries
Yeah.
in first class cricket and so forth. And, Marley basically got into his game a little later down in his teenage years. He broke the record and those sort of things and so. And they as you can see, Marley ended up playing quite a few games for the Leeward Islands, and Aston eventually played a few games for the West Indies.
Indies,
as well.
right,
So
right.
the talent was always there from a very young age.
Now, you spoke about the under 15, under 19, Princess Margaret. What was it like? Because one of the challenges we see now with our cricketers is they sometimes can master a particular level, but when it's now time to graduate to the next level, you see all the faults being exposed. You see all the challenges. What was it like for you now, moving from, let's say, the Princess Margaret to the under 15, the under 19? What was it like for you going through these stages?
It wasn't the easiest. I mean, it was basically a learning curve. So with each level, you had to basically look to try and improve your game. Every level that you went up, when you're playing in school league, you're going to meet a particular type of bowling, and when you go to the under 15s, you had at another level up that you basically had to meet if you wanted to go further than that. And with each level, you just basically need to try and improve your game. So that's what it was all about, back then, improving your game consistently, looking for ways and means to take it to the next level, that you can not only be competitive but to also be successful as well.
John, see, there lies a problem for me. Okay, I keep telling you, that's why Parish League have tours every year. So the guys can go play against foreign competition. I call them foreign competition. So see, when you're under 15 and so on, Cricket Association or whatever, you should organize some kind of tournament for them or something like go Trinidad, bring a Trinidad team here, get a team from Barbados. So I prefer the team coming to the United States. But if you go away, not the experience in different conditions.
Different environment, right?
But when they come here, John, you'll expose not only the 15 that tour, but you might find 25, 30 guys who have the opportunity to under 15.
To rub shoulder, right.
But then there's nothing wrong with playing the foreign conditions.
Right.
If you can play test, you play different conditions. If you play regional cricket, you play different. So days where I would knock with them. That's why it's probably go England all about to play. America, that was our aim.
Right.
As strange enough, John, when you go to the places, especially in America, people understand now, the amount of guys that play for Shell, she used to call in the time there, for Guyana, Jamaica, Barbados, those countries will send for the people to work and play for them. So when you're playing against a jockey team most of the time now,
Right.
guys who play regional cricket. So people might say, oh, it's a jockey fun tour. It wasn't no fun tour. Because if you know how this thing operates, John, nobody want to lose. Especially when in America, everybody have bragging rights now. Everybody have bragging rights. So I will tell you that when you play in America, look, when Parish League goes to St. Thomas, St. Greg, everybody come and sing is want to see Antigua lose. Because they think they're better than Antigua. Nothing wrong with that.
Right.
Like everybody back in their own country.
Right.
So when you go to the John, you have to come with the best performance. Okay, don't want to lose to them.
Right.
Because when you go, those guys on the grind, your country,
Of
right?
Madras, yes. You have to defend.
Yeah, you have to defend. You know?
Jerry, you said earlier you joined the national team at 16, but you never got.
He didn't join, they pick him.
They picked him, sorry.
In the training squad.
Your training
Yeah.
squad. Well, you got
Yes.
associated with,
Yeah.
but you never got your first
Until 21.
till 21.
No, it wasn't 21. It was 24, 23, somewhere around there.
8 years after Jerry
Yeah,
Holcomb.
How you massage those ears?
Well, I wanted to play cricket and I decided to stick with it. So I didn't give up. I know it was hard because you had, Willie Jacobs there, Chester Joseph, Bertel
He's a great keeper too, John.
Branko Payne, so it wasn't easy. So I just decided to just stick with it, and when I got my opportunity, I just grabbed it with both hands. I actually had to give up the wicket keeping and focus on my batting because the wicket keeping wasn't working out for me. So I
When you
just
say it wasn't working up, the
Well,
opportunity wasn't there, or
the
your skill
opportunity-
level wasn't matching up to
Yeah,
the.
when I really James was there.
well, the opportunity wasn't there because of the personnel
In front
that
of
was
you.
in front of me, and then in the latter stages of before I played, you had Kerry Mentor coming on the scene, you had Maxwell Georgeson coming on the scene, and these guys were fairly good wicket keepers,
Okay.
But I think the distinguishing factor for me was that I could bat, and back then I was scoring more runs than them, which is, from what I understand, which is the difference. Why I got into the Stanford team.
Stanford stuff.
Yeah, my batting was the difference, not necessarily my wicket keeping.
Keeping, okay. Okay.
So, I mean, it didn't work out in that aspect, but that's fine, It's just all about being competitive and, trying to find ways of really getting to the next level of something that you really love.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we've been speaking with Joari Edwards, and so far we've just been touching a little bit about his youth days in the game, speaking about his time preparing those pitches in the ground down there at Empire, and then playing for Princess Margaret School, getting a lot of licks, but still taking all those licks and coming out strong, going to the under 15, under 19, and even going into the Leeward Islands setup. And so we're going to speak a little bit more on that. We're just going to take a short break for a good cause, just to recognize our platinum sponsor, ACB Caribbean, Simply Smarter Banking. So for all of your banking and financial needs, be sure to check them out there at ACB Caribbean. Let them know that the folks from Talking Parish League sent you there, and trust me, they will take extra care of you there. All right, who do we have here? Shamoy Jelani Richards.
That's my brother.
That's your brother?
One of my younger brothers.
Okay, well, maybe this might mean something to you, because I'm trying to find out. Sydney Rochi Samuel Javier Richards. You know?
Richards is my brother as well too, and Sidney Samuel is my friend.
Okay, so it's all a group here. All right. Now, Jerry, before, because I understand you did a little football too. Before we got into the football and the military, let's just go to that opportunity when you actually started to play for Antigua.
You're talking about Antigua.
Yeah.
Yeah, Antigua.
Yes, Stanford Antigua.
No, I think it's here.
Well, now you mentioned about Stanford Antigua. Just quickly talk about that experience, that Stanford setup. What was that like? Because for me, I just saw a lot of people talk about the IPL, but I always see the Stanford T20 as the genesis of T20 cricket.
I believe so as well too. I thought cricket was going in a very good direction when that program came on the scene, and sadly, we all know what happened behind of that. But I am somewhat here and there as far as the T20 is concerned, because on one hand, it's sending the wrong message to the traditionalists that are associated with the game, because they consider Test cricket the pinnacle.
Yeah, but Jared, I'm going to stop you. When you were getting a chance to play, you wasn't thinking about that. You were enjoying it, huh?
That's what I'm saying, because at the end of the day, I know I collected a salary at the end of every month, but I'm doing something that I love.
Right.
So, to the traditionalists, they don't believe, well, like, if I can say like Taddy, they believe that Test cricket is the
Pinnacle,
of,
right.
of cricket.
But that experience, just playing in the Stanford T20, as you said, you guys were getting. How was that for your personal development, professional development?
Well, considering the coach that I had, it was a very good experience. I thought, Eldin Baptist is by far one of the best coaches that has ever coached me. Sometimes I tell myself, I wish I had him at an earlier age. Not that I'm saying the other coaches were not any good.
Fair enough.
But just the professionalism that he brought to the team, coming from coaching for a number of years in South Africa, he really brought that professionalism.
Playing county cricket for Kent for years.
Okay.
Mm.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
So he brought a level of professionalism that I basically never experienced before, and he got us playing a particular way, and that really improved my batting a lot, coming out of the wicket keeping and moving into like opening the batting, because after I came out of the pro team I started opening for Empire, opening for Antigua, and you could really see my game coming on leaps and bounds. I started scoring centuries because I wasn't really a century scorer. I would get a little 50 here and there as a wicket keeper. That was acceptable. And after I gave up the wicket keeping, it basically improved my game somewhat. I started opening for Antigua. I eventually played a single game for the Leeward Islands. Which I think I should have played more games, but I wasn't really in control of that. So my game improves somewhat after that.
Okay, so and now Antigua. Now, when you got your first play for Antigua, what was that experience like?
It was a relieving experience because I've been in and around the national team for so long. I've seen players, Devon Booby Thomas, Orlando Peters, come from under 13 cricket, come through youth cricket and played for the senior team before me. So quite a number of guys came after me, but I didn't lose hope. I decided to stick with it. I honestly wanted to play for the West Indies, and at the time my role models were Brian Lara and our very own Mr. Ridley Jacobs. But it didn't work out for me, and what I basically achieved in cricket, I'm quite fine with that. I know there are a number of players who never experienced playing for the national team, and a number of players who never experienced playing for the Leeward Islands team, and I was fortunate on both fronts.
And that Leeward Islands experience, that one game that you have under your belt for the Leeward Islands.
I made not the first innings.
Hey, that's no news, man.
I made 10 the second innings, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
All right. One of the stuff I found with a lot of people we have interviewed, or a lot of our guests, everybody is multi-talented, playing both football and cricket, because in those days, those are the two major sports. Basketball maybe was there, but not to that extent. Just tell us a little bit about your football powers. What you.
Well, I was not the best, but I'm not the worst either. I always was an individual that fell, somewhat in the middle. Football has a place that cricket can never have in my heart. Definitely, football is my first love. Definitely, but I was better at cricket, and I was encouraged to pursue cricket and leave football.
You were guided into that cricketing path.
Yes.
Who guided you, man?
Well, my cousin. Boss White.
Not your mommy.
No.
Boss White.
Boss White.
Boss White is a football man. No.
Boss White didn't play some cricket too?
I don't know about that.
And his father played for Antigua.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think his father played for Empire as well too.
Yeah.
Okay.
His father was buddy. And the St. Carl White to see you. With bunga buddies. You know what I mean?
So you were guided into the cricketing realm?
More or less.
But your first love was?
And is always will be football.
Okay. You played it on the community level? Tell us a little bit.
I played for Bodyguards. That's a junior team from the Grace Green community, coached by Swango Mark. Yeah, Swango Mark. Yes,
Swango Mark. Football.
Yeah, what do you mean? Swango knows a lot about football.
You know a lot about football?
Yes.
You cost me now.
Some of the big players in Premier League, the Ziggy Thomas, the Lexi Phoenix, and so forth, they came up under Swango and Kajawawa Wana.
Swango?
When we were younger. Yes. We used to go touring. Before me, they went to Montserrat, they went to Nevis.
No, Swango, man.
Very, very knowledgeable man about football as well, not only softball cricket. I know of his exploits in softball cricket, but he very much understands.
Yeah.
If they had a Montserrat too.
Okay.
Yeah, he represented Montserrat.
Yes,
and that is not a name that you hear affiliated with football. I've listened to quite a number of players who I know came up on the Swango, and not even one time they mentioned Swango as
we won the show.
Yeah, we should, yeah, because I wasn't even aware. Honestly, I never knew he had.
Of course.
Football.
That's my very good friend.
I know you can boast off. Oh, my apologies, Swango.
But after, the bodyguard program, I started playing for Empire. I played mostly second division for Empire, because that year they had a developmental program. I think it was like 2002, where they had the senior team playing in the Premier League, and then they had the second division team playing in the second division. And quite a number of guys got a little opportunity to go and sit on the bench, and got a little 10-15 minutes here and there. That was my claim to fame, just a little 15-20 minutes. I didn't really get anything else after that, because people thought I was out of my depth, but I don't have a problem with that. I can both aside.
You were there.
Yes.
You were right. Yes.
Wait, when some people thought you were there? You mean the Empire fans?
Well, we have the harshest fans in the entire nation.
I know that.
If they didn't think that you were made for that, they will tell you in no uncertain terms that that is not your cup of tea. You need to stay away from it.
Good afternoon, Sherilyn. Good to have you on board watching us.
That's the thing about the Queensville community.
Yeah, they're very.
They can sugarcoat nothing.
They do not, and that's what I love about them most, because when they're like that, it helps to build character in a sense. You know exactly not only what are you up against on the field, but also behind the boundary as well.
Well, what has changed, Jerry? Because even our present players, they complain quite a lot when, especially some of the senior, past players would be, critical of their performance or whatever their attitude, and they become very defensive towards that. But you're saying you would have used that as a motivational.
Definitely, you have to take criticism in a positive light. I think most of our players now, they do not want to take criticism. I mean, some people, as you said, don't necessarily sugarcoat things. You understand? But even though they don't do that, you can basically take the positives from what they say and have some self-thought.
Take the message and not the attitude.
Yes, and try and improve, because, I mean, it's not going to change. You go to the national level, you go to the regional level, you go to the international level, nothing is going to change as far as critics are concerned.
Quick question, just out of the box. Sledging. Y'all had a lot of sledging in your time?
Oh, yes, it still happens up until just as recent as the weekend. The All Saints players had to go at me, and that's fine. They have people their age group there, so when I was going out to bat, they were saying what they were saying.
Is it with this old man ago?
Yeah. well, that was more the message. So after the game we had a little laugh about it, because I don't really pay attention to those things.
Well, that's good. I'm happy to hear you say that. After the game we had a laugh, and Taddy speaks about that quite a lot. Being very competitive on the field of play, but after it's just
it's fun. It's fun after that, though.
Yeah, definitely.
They're trying to get you off a game.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? So,
definitely. Even when I went to Bethesda as well, my former teammate Gavin Tong, was having to go at me, Anthony Martin. They're there, they're trying to, get into your head and try to get you out and so forth.
Wait, but they didn't call the older guy.
No, because we are basically the same age group.
That's what I'm thinking,
We're basically the same age group, so and it's showing as well, because I mean these days I am extremely tired when I'm finished playing. That wasn't the case
when you're young.
10 years or so ago.
When you're a young guy, man.
When you're young, the fitness level.
So
it creeps up on all of us.
Definitely, and the love for the game is still there, but to go through the preparation that you would try to go through. I mean, I have tried it. As long as I make up my mind to go and play cricket, I'm going to train like I was like a 20-year-old, and my body keeps saying, "Oh."
Oh man, that remind me. Ed made a comment a couple of weeks back on the show, saying, just let him lace up. Give him what he said. Give him a week or 2 weeks in the nets, and he can come back out there. William Messiah Jr. is watching. What's up, Taddy? All right, Taddy. I don't know if you know who that is.
Yeah, I know Willie.
Okay, so he's just saying that. Now, Taddy was telling me, and we're talking that you would have then your development would have branched you probably out of Antigua. Just take us through that as to where you went after.
Well, that was the end of 2019. In the summer months in 2019, I basically made up my mind to migrate to the US. So I decided to pursue a career in the military, and in the summer of 2020, I went to basic training, did what we had to do, and I came out, went to tech school, went to my first base, my only base, Maxwell Air Force Base in Alabama.
How's that?
Maxwell Air Force Base in Alabama. And I basically didn't get the job that I wanted, so it was pretty difficult for me being an older guy, being supervised by 23 and 24-year-olds is not easy. But I basically said that to say, when you have your heart set on something and it doesn't work out, it's pretty difficult to motivate yourself every day to get up and do the job that you are required to do, because you basically signed your contract. So I decided to come back home, and I went back into teaching, because I taught from 2009 until 2019 when I migrated, and I was fortunate enough to be able to come back into the teaching profession prior to my leaving the military.
Well, because the question the ultimate question I wanted to put to you now is, although I know you said it didn't work out maybe the way that you would have liked it, those experiences that you would have gathered, let's take you way back, fixing that pitch,
definitely,
rolling that before you even step up. How did these experiences help you for that challenge?
A lot.
You would have?
Because the discipline, just basically applied the discipline from those responsibilities that you had prior, and you just apply them in the military setting, and it was quite easy. There are times that you don't want to get up at 5:45 in the morning, when there's roll call and you have to go and do different things that you have to do, but that discipline kicks in, because if you don't comply, you know what's coming.
What's coming?
A punishment. You're gonna get punished.
Well, Lydia is saying here, not to cut you, Jerry, I'm a teacher too. We rock. Okay, Lydia.
So that discipline, it allowed me to make the transition from teaching into the military. And to be quite honest, I wish things had worked out differently for me as far as the military is concerned, because one thing I definitely can tell you is that you're well looked after, and providing that you're in a particular field or you're a particular rank, because there's the officer rank and the enlisted rank. Providing that you're in the officer rank and you can do 10, 15, 20 years, you will be well off. Right. And even when you get out of the military, Taddy, it's a situation where you're basically, depending on the level that you're working, you are basically putting yourself out there for quite a number of good jobs that you can get adequate pay as well.
Especially when you have the military background, you get first preference too.
Yes, definitely. When they're hiring, when there's an opening for a job, if there's any military member who applies for the job, they give you preference over a civilian.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Well, so now that you are back and now going through all your experiences, growing up through the community, what are you playing any active role in your community with the youngsters, or what is your ultimate plan in terms of how you can see yourself? Because I remember Kenny Benjamin was on the show about 2-3 weeks ago, and one of the things he lamented on, he was saying that that class of 80 was 83 or 84, Taddy,
For factory.
combined when the combine
85, I think. 84, 85.
84, 85. One of the things he said
84.
84. Yeah, one of the
84.
Okay, around that time. One of the things he said though was, he was looking forward to that crop of players really nurturing the up and coming crop, and he said he felt a bit. I don't want to say what he didn't say, but I think he was saying he felt a bit disappointed that they didn't do a lot more to assist the upcoming generation behind of them. And so I just throw out a question to you to see, what role do you play, or how do you envision what role you can play in helping those who are aspiring to reach the levels that you would have reached and beyond?
I'm just in and around my cricket team for right now. To be quite honest, I do a bit of coaching in my team. I help out the younger players. But I don't really think coaching is my thing per se. I prefer to venture into management. Being around Hugo for so long, I mean, he definitely has rubbed off a lot on me. When I was playing for the national team, I know, certain things he would call me and say, make sure this do, make sure that do, and that kind of had me looking at the cricket from a different perspective, from a more laid back perspective. And who knows, maybe someday, I don't know, maybe I could probably manage West Indies team or something like that. I don't know.
Jerry does not a big job. Jerry does not a big job.
I'm just saying.
John, the job is like politics.
Well, I mean, I know how that is. I remember before I can't even say before I stopped playing, quite a number of years back, Mr. Enoch Lewis came to me and he asked me to consider being a match referee, what I thought about that, and I told him I'll think about it. But I know it's something that intrigues me, watching how some of the match referees take control of international games and so forth. And I spoke to Sir Richie about it quite a number of years back as well, but he told me it's a nomination basis. You have to be nominated by your territory in order to make it to the ICC. So that is something that I thought about and told myself, maybe things might work out for me, that I can probably venture into being a match referee, or maybe start managing, that I can go to the ranks and eventually make it to the senior team or something like that.
John, understand that that's like winning a lotto. John. John.
I know how it is.
Those players stuff are reserved for test guys.
True, Teddy.
That's what you want.
Ricky Skerritt managed West Indies team.
Yeah, but that's not what the manager said. The manager party politics. That politics, regional stuff, and so you get there. Ricky was around and so on, Ricky captain West Indies youth team and all that, and if you know that. But he's a good friend, even though he's a joking president. But I'm saying to you, John, Jerry and this match referee thing, it's not going to work out. There's a fast track to being an umpire to if you're a former test cricketer. The fast track here. What happens, John? You see this stuff named television? That television cater for those kind of guys. So when they see this big star, this and that, come and get you. That's what you work with Jerry.
But being a former player does not necessarily mean you're capable.
But Jerry it's just like a cereal box now. The one that has on the most animation is the one the kids pick up. It doesn't mean it's the most tasty one now. You understand? So I think what Taddy said.
Jerry, you see the whole high with the analysts and that kind of people? Farmer test players. Those look, they shock the audience. The people listen to them. Some of them joke about now. But because of farmer test.
There's a name, there's a name.
I think.
Jerry. Don't give up.
Not to stray from what you're saying as far as the commentary is concerned, but I think my good friend Marley Richards definitely.
Did a fine job.
Very, very, very good job.
Great job.
I've had conversations with him, after he did his first stint, and I basically told him, I think you have it in you to
Yeah,
go to the next
Yeah,
level.
all
Yeah,
reports
that's
that
it.
came back was very
But
glowing
yeah,
about what
you
he.
may get lucky. You have a good name.
Yeah.
The name brand.
Don't worry about the
But
name.
he's very good.
Don't worry about the name. I know because he is,
Yeah,
the son of an
but he's
icon.
good. But he's good.
Yeah, you can't take that away from him.
He would get the extra post, but I think exclusively, he is very astute.
Yeah,
in-
He's good, man. He's very
everybody
good.
spoke
He's
about
good.
his,
He's good.
his,
Let's take that
his
with him.
acumen. Yeah,
Yes, John,
even the day we had him here.
You know, I don't give him my good easily, John.
Yeah.
Yes. Your goods come at a very high price.
yeah.
He's good, man. I give him my credit. He's good. You know
Yes,
what I
he
mean?
is.
But hey, the name brand make it some difference.
Well,
You know?
Taddy, don't matter now. Anyway, you go in life now. You need that little extra clout, that little push now. If it's a name, if it's a position, it gets you through that door.
Well, just like we said, when you come in the military, your first preference with a job.
Not in that regard. No. Definitely not in that regard.
I would agree with you. The mere fact is, Richard's son, good analyst. Let's get him to the IPL and see. So people want to see him.
Well, he may eventually.
No,
make it there.
no. Obviously, the name is going to carry a lot
Says a
of.
lot.
They're not going to speak about. They're not going to refer to him as Marley Richards, Viv Richards' son.
And that's it. That's a brand name.
Just understand that's his name, right?
Yeah.
Marley is just secondary to the.
But like Jerry said, you said, John, I say, he's very good.
Oh yeah.
So it's not like you're starting me just for starting me sake.
No. He earned his.
He earned his money.
He earned
Really
his
good.
crowd. Yeah, you can't take that away from
Hey,
him.
listen,
So-
Very knowledgeable
Yeah, man.
player as well too. I mean,
Yeah, well, he told us, he said, hey, I read a lot. My dad used to give me all these videos to watch. So, he really went through the whole.
he was definitely one of the best captains that I've played on, because he was our captain for under 15. Sylvester Bouncing Joseph as well is another name that comes to mind in terms of how he basically, leads his teams. He's very, very good at that.
Hey, John, I feel good about that now, because I have a coffee after the coach, when the captain team good and so on. John, I said, captain training in sort factory, They have to come over there. I said, feel, explain to them things. That's no factory going. I have to get trained with captains,
No, Tari, let me tell you, these
Just-
things are very critical in our games, because you watch some captains, whatever you want to call it, on the field of play, and they are lost.
Yes.
And
Tactically, they're lost.
yeah.
I
And
mean, sometimes they have the analysts who, they have to basically give them all this information, and tactically they're trying to work on certain things that are not necessarily coming to fruition. And
I
just
mean,
goes haywire.
you watch a simple field setting. I mean, I'm no big cricketer, but you watch and you realize some of these guys just don't understand where the game is, what they're trying to achieve, and you can see that. So, Tari, I think what you
And that
speak
makes a
about there,
difference,
captain's class or captain lesson,
And
what
Yeah,
training.
the fact you have to train. If I want to captain my team, I have to train you, John. Because what I like to do after a while now, I don't want to be there. I don't want to tell them what to do. They must learn. So
It helps you to think the game at a higher level, definitely, because you will, be more inclined with what is happening, and possible plans that you can have, and you can run it by your bowlers, your senior players, and then you try to put the plans into action.
Question, now you mentioned some of these captains that you would have rubbed shoulder with. In your age group, under 15, under 19, who were some of the players that coming out of that setting that you felt could have or should have
Made it to a higher
stepped
level.
up to a higher level more consistently?
One name that comes to mind is Stefan Daniel, yellow.
it was
from Glanville.
seating guy. Now.
Oh, okay.
We, as I said earlier, we have had talks about players who have come through the school system, and Yellow was basically a standout talent in terms of his exploits in school cricket. I don't think anybody that played school cricket in my time scored more centuries than Yellow.
Okay.
And even football, because he's a fairly
Powerful guy.
chubby guy as well,
Powerful
and even
guy.
football
chubby.
that does
Powerful the bit. My
Even
strong
in-
good, solid.
even in football as well,
Yeah.
that did not, his size did not restrict him. He was a fairly competent striker, and that's basically a name that jumps out at me. Well, I can't even say a good friend Lai West, because he decided to venture into law. But
Why was that good?
Yeah,
yes,
man,
he was.
That was good, man.
Of course.
That's last
course.
time guys more 11 or 12.
Of course.
Okay.
I believe Loy had what it takes to basically play for the Leeward Island, even be a season campaigner for the Leeward Island, and probably even getting further than that, because back in those days he was one of the premier spinners, even though he was that young.
Yeah.
Was one of the premier spinners in Antigua.
Started pretty young, Rising Sun.
Yes.
11,
Okay.
12 years old, played.
I think he played for Antigua fairly young as well too, maybe in his teens or early 20s.
But he's a smart guy. He's a
Yes, he
smart
is.
guy. You know, there's a
Yes,
chance
yes.
to get into law, you know. He's a,
But tell you, we're not getting no young guys to come and play to make any team now. No, we don't have no young guys making any impression.
no, John. See, this is how the problem with all this cricket, you know. I was telling Mark this morning, Mark was shuffling me around. I said, Mark, my disappointment is the amount of young, good, talented guys I see in Antigua. Plenty young guys are very talented. But the training aspect is not there. John, they're putting them to the drill. Plenty young guys are very good now. But the talent, no, John, I see them with them. And sometimes I said to myself, I won't be so old. Because if I'm coaching, say, John, plenty guys will maybe get in the West Indies team. You see the talent, you know people in the John.
Yeah, I definitely think young Joel Andrew is definitely one to look out for. You know, I've known him from the Clear Secondary. He is a well, if I can say, former student, because he goes to the Antigua Grammar School now. One to keep your eyes on, definitely. And I know he started, you know, doing some training with bouncing. As far as working on the technical aspect of his game is concerned, and I can see definitely a bright future coming from him, definitely.
What I can tell you, your mother can push him.
Yes,
why-
definitely.
why his mother is enough?
His mother is at every
Right,
game.
push them. Even the young guy Hilroy is not.
Hilroy is not bad,
Hilroy is not too bad too. You know, I would like to see him just focus on his batting. I know all of us like to, you know, when we're young, we want to do everything, we want to bowl and bat, but I'd like to see him just concentrate a little bit more.
I wanted to keep it. One was
Yeah,
keep
No,
it.
Joel is a keeper.
Joel
Joel is a keeper, yeah. But Hilroy is, you know, he goes around as an all-rounder. He bowls a little bit, but I would.
Wait, he bowls a sweetie. Or he bowls.
You're not gonna let Simone talk me for me, boy. Simone is his mother.
She's very good.
Who's this now? Bokafari is saying not only the name, but he is grammatically inclined. So I guess he's
That's
speaking
Tayo.
about Mali.
Yeah, hello, Tayo.
Hey, you know who that is?
Tayo T.
Saying there's a book or something like that. I don't even like it. Can you buy a book or something where we can say,
Bokafari. That's what.
Jack, come down and come look for me.
That's what I see. Yeah.
Tell you.
Well,
So good, tell you.
You'll have to deal.
Tell you what Tally saying about you. So you can respond to him. Just make sure I didn't miss anybody else. We look to wrap up soon. Okay, yeah, I think everybody. Darby, haven't heard from you in a while. Darby is normally one of our regular
Bento.
texter. Yeah. So far, how is the what's it, the 40 over competition? How's that going?
Well, we beat Bethesda.
And All Saints
in the
beat
first
you.
game, and All Saints beat us in the second game. So.
Because the mind intimidate you say old, that's your bad. I don't understand.
I prefer Bobby and I used to call me old than a person feel younger than me call me. That's fine. That's fine.
Well, you know, I mean, John, I don't understand that, John, but I went to Clear School this week, me and John, me and Mark, to check fields and all that. And somebody tell me, Jerry, and help me know this cricket team up there. So I was told that.
So Mark buy again.
Wait, Mark up.
To be quite honest, I haven't got into coaching cricket like that from since I've been at the Clear Secondary School. I'm more dabbling in football because, you know, football is my
Football
thing.
your first love.
Yes, football is my first love. So, I mean, if an individual doesn't come to me really and ask my advice or ask me something pertaining to cricket, cricket is not something that you would find that I would talk about on a normal day. You know, it's always the football argument, who is better, the Manchester, the Chelsea, the Man City. I'm an Arsenal fan and I get a lot of licks for being an Arsenal fan.
I was talking
You know,
about Spurs, man.
Well, my mom is a Tottenham fan.
Oh,
You know, my
okay,
father was a Chelsea fan.
I'm a United fan.
That's fine.
But I was giving Jared a joke about how I became a Tottenham fan. When I tell you about when I go to school, go to school and say, Mars, I get this and that, get this foot and so on. My buddy used to back Manchester United.
Yeah.
You spoke with Manchester United. So I said, Tal, we're back on the team, buddy. So
That was how-
Spurs sound like a nice name.
That was
so you
how-
wanted one.
That was how I started supporting Arsenal. It was a game between Manchester United and Arsenal. I think it was in 1996 or 1997. Everybody was
United.
supporting Manchester United. And I decided to support Arsenal.
We wanted to be the underdog.
Never look back from
Well done, Lydia. Manchester United. Lydia Harris is saying Manchester United. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we, as they say, every good thing must come to an end, and we're going to look to wrap up this program. Really a nice talk there with Gerari Edwards. Really just going back and just reminiscing on those days of him in the community of Grace Green, playing with the PMS team, and also his experience in the Antigua setup and his adventure, if I can call it that, into the U.S. Army, the U.S. military, but decided to return home and and make his contribution here, which is very much regarded. Good night to you too, Lydia, and really a pleasure having you here. And Calvin White is also saying great show as always. Thanks, Calvin. And so we're just going to look to wrap up and draw what we normally do, just give you an opportunity to give your closing remarks. Anybody you want to big up, say hello to, and to close out your...
Well, first of all, I'd just like to thank, Taddy and, yourself for having me here. As far as bigging up people is concerned, no real person that I want to big up per se.
You get yourself into trouble.
No. I'm not getting myself in trouble. But as I said, thank you for having me here, and whenever you need me to come back on the show, I don't have a problem with coming back and supporting the show.
You enjoyed it.
Definitely.
John, what happens?
I got I got the impression to start he didn't know what to expect. He was a little bit, what am I going to say here? What is going to happen here?
You can't be a bit off guard. That's right.
What happened next week? What happened to He was the one for big cricket. People didn't know. He coming in. But no, finish your show. And the meeting is all about so we're getting
I hope
so that's why in that team.
Well, she said based on what you
Exactly. So I don't want to that is and even next week, I'm part of yes. Okay, what about a big show? Some old Empire guys who started Empire. One named Dexter and some other pumpy. Some man who started Empire 60 years ago.
Oh yeah, they're celebrating
60 years.
60 years, yes.
So Star Wars.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, as you could see our new brand here on our shirt, the APL.
John, before you go so fast, we were branding again Community Sports Network.
Community Sports Network.
CSN.
So the CSN.
What do we happen now, John? That we're going to know. So when Jerry played football, we can carry our football like netball, any sport, any village.
We can carry the Warrior man there, Trevor Simon will carry.
You're going to host us soon.
We carry his Warrior tournament.
As matter of fact, I saw Jerry Tiger to recruit him to host one of the shows, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's very eloquently spoken. That's
The
true.
retirement is coming soon. Maybe next season, after next season, I'll decide to just call because
Yeah, maybe we'll start to make someone you might change your mind now.
I don't believe so. I don't believe so.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, yes, well, as you heard Taddy said, another rebranding is coming. As you know, the Parish League network is growing, and we are Community Sports Network.
Not only that, John, by end of this month, they will have 4 new shows.
All right, so you got to stay tuned. Make sure you log on to our Facebook page for all the updates. Our YouTube channel is up and running, and also you can follow us on Instagram there. Remember, everything is on the Antigua Parish League, and so we are excited. And Taddy, we need to do a show one of these days where we just speak about the evolution of the Antigua Parish League into the Community Sports Network, and really just speak about the work that we have done and what we are projecting to do to really bring community sports into the homes. It's not about,
I glad you go there, John. Happy you go there. We all have Mark and Man are working on our TikTok. We're going to have TikTok soon to John. But what happens, what I mentioned just now is something we had in discussion yesterday too. We're going to approach CTV and Flow. You see, we get a channel
geared towards our community.
You know, the Community Sports Network channel,
Right.
and Flow and CTV. So we're working on that plan. But next week, we're kind of busy. We can start to approach the relative people to get something like that going. Okay, we committed people household, John. Not only CTV channel 8, but hey, we'll get our own brand.
Yeah, I forgot to pick up our viewers on CTV Channel 8 today. It was really a pleasure having you once again. I hope we're on, guys? Okay.
So that's what John. So I agree with you. When everything unfolds how we want it, we can discuss it. Because we want to go in Grace Farm, cover football when they get a basketball complex open, so we can play basketball, live volleyball, swimming, anything that we live. We want to get carry them live.
Athletics. You know, we never met.
You only see 3 cameras, you have 4 cameras.
Mm-hmm.
So we might get another one soon.
That's fine.
Okay.
So, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of all of us here, let's not forget our technicians working in the back, Mark and Arden, working very astutely to keep this program.
John, by the way, Mark, tell you going away next week?
Mark is going away?
He didn't tell you going away next
No, he didn't tell me anything. Don't worry, man, I'll track him down. Don't worry. Yeah, so remember, we'll be back on Monday with Marvelous Emma. He'll continue his show Talking Sports, and we will be having Kenny Benjamin on Wednesday with Coach's View, and of course we'll be back next week. As Taddy said, we're going to be having
And John, John, Tuesdays, Fridays, Saturday morning, we have shows, so John.
So Jerry, from instead of 2 March, between on
So anyway, there's some John, program physiotherapist,
sports medicine.
I even get when I say sports is you say John, if it is you want to
think the game. We also have to teach that psychological aspect.
That definitely makes a difference, because if you can basically have a platform, where you can teach the game in, let us say, in a theoretical setting, a classroom setting per se, where you can teach them the different theories about the game, you can apply it in a practical sense when you go on the field.
I always believe in that. Now, Study says captain, coaching, whatever he calls it, because I believe you have to point on that board. Hey, this is how you set a field, a left-hander. You're bowling a waist swing. This is what we're looking at.
Definitely.
If it's incoming, if we're trying to set up a batsman this way, what do we do? The different options that are available to you.
That's it, John. That's what the theory is there. But if you're a coach and you have the guys in the field, you should explain that to them.
Yeah.
Right.
Just like how a young girl was coaching cricket umpiring last week and said, how to get you in the field so you can get a practical view of it. So if you see it, you learn it quicker. you can make mistakes though, but you learn faster. But the practice, but you have to know the theory. You have to have that, John.
Yes. I think I think it was Sir Clive when he was on. He said 90% or 80% of the game is played above the
Shoulder.
shoulder.
So Clive said that. We had Sir Clive on our show too,
Yeah.
John, we have everybody. So famous here too, So Andy been here twice. You have,
And your partner, he'll see this is regular seats.
He's a big man. He's a part of the Parish League stuff setup. So we did a show where he's host too. Yeah, so we're going to have a show if we have to go now. So,
But when we really set up, we have to go back up by the animal farm by Soppy.
Yeah.
Just to just give our thanks and our appreciation for really giving us that push start.
Exactly.
So that's where we started our show. Joao, when we started, we didn't have all these fancy mics. No, we had a mic, and I had to pass the mic to you. You pass it to Taddy.
Okay.
And so we want to give credit.
Is an Empire Star one send the mic to me. But when I say when I told started me football, the Manchester man, and I decided with Spurs man.
Yeah.
He's the one who said
Okay.
you're watching the show and say, what kind of jokey mic are you? So we have 5 mics on the jar.
All right.
Myron James is saying good afternoon, Jari.
Tell him I said good afternoon.
No, you tell him good afternoon.
Myron in Texas.
Good afternoon, Myron. My good friend.
He's in Texas, you know that, right?
And Taddy, one of the things I've found that the whole show, the whole network has done now, it has brought back a lot of people who may have drifted. Been to the States, to the UK. We have people from all the way in India, Australia, and it's brought that network, brought them back together, say, I haven't seen you in a long time, and, it has sort of reverberated a lot of the emotions and spirit from this.
That's what I'm about, Josh. Even Josh in England, sure you watching.
Calvin White every day, from the...
So this is what the show does, and so we can zoom anybody in the world.
Definitely.
We can zoom you, so they know how to operate the zoom. And the technician Margaret is right.
we were so fortunate. I mean, just before the king passed, we had the king on the show also by Zoom, and so he was able to share.
Very, very knowledgeable individual.
Oh man,
Yes.
I must say it's a pleasure, having certain conversations about, different aspects of life, sports and
With the king. Yeah.
very, very, very knowledgeable man, and I just hope that his soul basically rests in peace.
Yeah, one of the sad part about, I find, maybe not Antigua, maybe in the world, we just don't document a lot of these things, and some of the knowledge that these guys have, not documenting them, not having any archives of them, it just leaves a vacuum. And this is one of the things I rate the show for, this show, because now a lot of these stuff that we're bringing out, I mean, Jari, I heard your name, but I never knew anything about you. And now just hearing that, and a lot of these are on our Facebook page, they're on our YouTube channel.
You watch it 2 years from now.
You could watch it 2 years from now. So we are extracting a lot of information. I mean, when Carver Brown came here first, I would like to get back Carver Brown, because when Carver Brown came here first, I didn't really have a clue who he was. I just heard about him.
I've heard his name.
But now I hear everybody.
You don't know Carver, Jerry, you're joking.
I heard his name, but I don't know.
But everybody knows just talking about Carver, so I know Carver was a big man. Carver was a real...
Play cricket, fighting, football, powerful.
Yeah, I've heard about his exploits in
even Case, Jad, Case.
I know Case.
Everybody too.
I know Case.
Right. So, one of the stuff that this show does now, it's really creating an archive, a library of information. And, I challenge anybody, if you need, we had Hugo sitting here just giving his experience, Andy, Sir Viv, Sir Clive,
Dwight Astafan.
Dwyer Astafan, you know, all these guys just sharing.
No, out of Australia.
No, I'm out of Australia. Pity out India. You know,
Los Angeles and India.
Los Angeles, okay, yeah. So,
the matter of fact, we had the commentator producer who lives in Australia, man, right? He was in
Danny Morrison.
Dubai.
Yes. Mervyn Admonish, yeah.
So we have,
Maybe you should try to get Ian Bishop.
Hmm?
I said maybe you should try to get Ian Bishop.
Amish.
Ian Bishop.
Ian
Ian.
Okay.
Because if you can reach as far as New Zealand with the likes of Danny Morrison and so
We can get anybody anyway.
I think Ian Bishop would be definitely.
So we get anybody anyway.
But I we were supposed to get Mikey and Andy a time now. We never got that hook up.
We're working on that yet.
Okay.
We're working on it. Don't worry about it. I'm trying to get Vivi next month. Get next week's birthday, making 70.
Okay.
I'm trying to get him. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know, he's disgusting. You know?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've done a little over time, but we're going to wrap it up now. Our technicians have got through what they wanted to do. And so on behalf of Mark, Charles, Orden, Taddy, and our special guest today, Jawari Edwards, I'm your host, Leroy John Baptist, and we're signing off, and we're still imploring everyone, please follow all the protocols that are established, and let's just try and be safe and ride out this storm. Have a good evening, everyone.